Good afternoon. Well, not quite afternoon yet. Am I looking at the clock wrong?
It is afternoon. It is afternoon, yes.
Okay, be that as it may. My name is Odie Hawkins, and I'd like to say first off, welcome to what is supposed to be the Monday evening thing here at this table. Turns out to be Tuesday because we missed Monday. But the reason for that I'm not going to get into. That's not the whole point. We've been asked, Zola, for Salena-Hawkins, the
Yes, let's come
producer, director,
coming into another moment.
the MASH
The MASH.
47.7. I'm sure you sold up a lot of bodies in your day. We're not joking about this. Anyway, by way of explanation, I'm an author, and I've written and published 38 books. I think it's closer to 100, but 38 published books. And I've been often called the underground master by friends, and two friends that I'd like to speak about who live in Chicago, if they're still alive now. Their names are Bam and Baby June. And I have to say it, these guys have been heroin addicts for a number of years. They relapse, they go into rehab at Lexington, Kentucky, which is one of their favorite places. They rehab in order to bring the levels of their drug addiction down, and then they go back. They have been drug addicts ever since I've known them, and they probably will die that way. As a matter of fact, they joked about it. They call themselves druggists. As in pharmacists, druggists. So,
okay.
Anyway, we started talking about why it is that I'm fairly well known as a writer to some people, but not to a lot of people. So consequently, some of my friends started calling me the underground master. Okay, so I thought, well, we'll get into advertising. We'll take up some of these offers that some of these people call and offer, which is give us $2,500 and we'll advertise your books and so forth.
We'll do a video of you.
Video. You do a trailer and tell us what it's all about and pay us for everything that we do for you, and we'll be happy and you'll be happy.
And we'll split the profits. Little red head.
So, okay, Bam and Baby June, who know a little bit about hustling, said to me and Zola, say, hey, look, why don't you guys get out in the corner? Out in the corner? Well, they sell peaches
Chicago
and apples
corner.
and oranges. And
Chicago corner.
Chicago corner. That's what they're thinking about. I would never go back there to sell anything. But the suggestion was taken and acted upon, so this is why it is. We are here now on this particular corner, and as you can see, we are selling my books. And that's all I have to say about that, because I think the sign sells itself. Buy one of the books at your leisure, and having said that, let me go on to another thing. Both of us are certified Tai Chi instructors, and she points at the certificates. This past Sunday, I have to say I had the pleasure of being in the class that Zola was conducting. There are about, I think, roughly 50 people in the class these days. And it's a very interesting thing because several other members of the certified class have had a chance to conduct the class. And each one of us has a certain kind of persona. They bring a certain kind of personality to this class. It happens that, well, I'll let you talk about it. First of all, I want to say congratulations.
Well, thank you.
I was there.
Yeah.
In the class, in person, and I could see what you and your partner with
Marianne.
Marianne.
Yeah.
These two.
Well, I should say Alfred Reeves was supposed to go with me on Sunday. However, it rained and really didn't think hardly anybody would show up, and so the park was not too bad. It was wet, but not too bad, and so Mariana Mary Ann was generous enough to help and
to
assist.
co-lead the class.
Mhm.
It's a very interesting thing, this Tai Chi. It was established by Dr. Daniel Hoover, who is the founder, director of SOMA, the School of Healing Martial Arts. We have been friends and patients of his since he was an intern in his school.
Right.
And having earned a certificate from him and Dr. Jonathan Lynn, his partner in the certification project,
The initial certification process, yeah.
we wind up becoming teachers. And what I'd like to ask you is very simple, but not very simple. What is it like to teach people who know basically nothing about Tai Chi?
Well, first off, let me backtrack to the foundation of our whole process of these classes in the park. And I do believe it comes from Master Tom Tran, who initially was...
Who's Tom Tran? Master Tom Tran.
Master Tom Tran is dear to our heart. He was our original teacher and of Tai Chi Chuan, and he was 24. And
this is a man who was over at the Buddhist temple on 10th and Orange.
Yes. And when I showed up initially to learn the form, I had a very bad sciatic, and I was like dragging my right leg almost. And I thought he would tell me just go away, but having had injuries himself, he let me stay, and thank goodness between that and therapy, and even at the hospital physical therapy, and through SOMA, School of Healing Martial Arts, Integrated Health, now I'm fine. And so that's, we started with that. Then Daniel, after he graduated,
can I interrupt you? What is Tai Chi?
The ultimate fix, ultimate fix, and that it's a martial art, and yet not a martial art. It's meditation in a sense, and it helps the inner body as well as the outside, helps the mind. And the Harvard School of Medicine said that is very vital as far as maintaining your perspective. So, maintain your mind.
If someone came up to me in the street, some malevolent human being, and tried to do some harm to me, what good would Tai Chi do? What use could you make of it? Is it like wushu?
Well, not necessarily. You would have to practice a long time to really implement the martial arts applications. But that doesn't mean one shouldn't start.
Yeah,
okay, just like walking. If you didn't walk, you couldn't run. Okay, you don't start off running. You don't, except for Russell, our son, who started off walking and then decided to crawl.
He walked first and then...
Yeah, right. He saw the children crawling. And
I almost like Russell for that.
Unique. Okay. So with Tai Chi, let me start with when Daniel, Dr. Hoover, established it at the park. We initially were at Signal Hill, or Hilltop Park in Signal Hill. And after CNN did a special about the diversity of our class and, the benefits of doing Tai Chi, I gather the administration in Signal Hill, people felt it was just too large or whatever. And so we ended up having to move to Long Beach, which is a really good facility too. And for myself, when I teach, I like to incorporate a lot of what I learned from Master Tom Tran, as well as what I learned from Dr. Hoover and Dr. Lynn. However, I also think of Andrea Bocelli, the singer.
Really?
Yes.
He's a singer.
Yes, okay. And you're the one who explained to me that why he's closed his eyes and looks so involved in his song, in his singing, that he was blind. I was like, whoa.
You didn't know he was blind before that?
I didn't know he was blind. Okay. And, he didn't appear blind. Okay. Seeing him move about, And so when I teach it, I try to, as Alfred says, listen to what I say as well as watch what I do. Because some people are sight learners and some people are verbal learners. And I believe that if I can teach it and say it well enough that a blind person could follow my instruction, that would help in the process. And to not make it so serious. It is, I am serious about the teaching of it, but I want the person to enjoy it as children enjoy. Children learn because...
Doing it in a humorous way.
In a humorous way, and that it's important. But too often, we adults do it so seriously that it pushes people away from the process, as opposed to bringing them in. And
can I interrupt you for a minute? That's a point that I've noticed very frequently. People who are teaching something that could be taught with a lot more levity, let's say. They tend to bring so much weight down on it that it sort of smashes your urge to learn it. I think about math in the same kind of way. I fell away from math by having early math teachers who were just pounding you with this. If you don't know X equal Y, then you're stupid or something like that.
Yes, I can identify with that. I had a math instructor that was a Marine, and he's a retired Marine, teaching algebra. And the first thing he said in the class was that most of you will fail my class. And he was right. 21 out of 23 failed his class. Whereupon my grandmother said, that's not the students, that's the teacher.
Let's detour back to Tai Chi.
Okay. And so, that when a person feels like they have not been able to master Tai Chi, it's not all on them if they're practicing. It's also on the teacher to make it clearer.
Okay, when you say Tai Chi Chuan, I've heard that there are many types of Tai Chi.
Yes, there's
How does Tai Chi, there's something called Qigong?
Life force, energy.
Okay.
Okay.
How is that different from Tai Chi?
That's in Tai Chi.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, yes, and so that, and as one practices it, one feels this energy, this magnetic force, okay? I remember Master Tom touching your hand and saying, Mr. O Hot, okay?
Mr. O Hot.
Mr. O Hot.
Mr. O Hot.
Yeah,
You
because
feel Mr. O Hot?
Mr. O is hot. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mr. O is hot.
And so people can sometimes, when you rub your hands together and then try to sense this like magnetic field that's in between your hands and see how far you go back and forth.
So Tai Chi develops that? Or?
Yes, I believe that and Qigong, and which is the precursor to Tai Chi. Qigong is more in one space, while Tai Chi you do tend to move. Okay, you have to move about. And the Qigong works on the inner organs, and the Tai Chi works on the inner organs, but also your outside, your muscles.
It seems to me that one is more static and the other is more dynamic.
Yes.
When you're doing Qigong, it's here and just, but the Tai Chi is giving you a series of mazes to go through.
East, west, south, and north, so in various directions. And there's so much that you have to, in a sense, remember as far as, the left hand works with the left leg, the right hand works with the right leg most of the time, and that one should not have any elbows. One should try to stay round because, like a hose, you think of that energy, the chi flowing, you want it to flow through a nice smooth hose. If you do this elbow thing, you jam the chi.
Okay, I've heard you say from time to time something about people not being willing to release the tension that would allow them to do.
I'm constantly suggesting to people, and just a suggestion.
How long have you been doing this?
Over 20-some years.
Me too.
Yes, okay. In fact, I think my first certificate I got from Master Tom Tran. Okay. But I tell people for the hands, because sometimes the hands are like this, or like claws, that to take the hand and put it on top of your head, right there on top of your head, and then look at your hand. It should be, the fingers should be splayed, it should be relaxed. And that's how you want your hands to be throughout Tai Chi. You know, you lead with the wrists, and it's a gift. It really is. It's preventive medicine.
Okay, I'm using that point as a point of departure to another area. I've heard you say a lot of times that Tai Chi could be the foundation for any number of other endeavors, creatively.
Well, yes, it helps you creatively because you're using your mind, okay? And more than you think, you're moving your mind.
Is that a pun? You're using your mind more than you think.
Yes.
I got to remember that one.
Okay, yes.
You're using your mind more than you think. Got it?
Right. And, you'll find yourself sometimes maybe laying in bed, and in your mind, you're doing the form. And I believe that's one of the good exercises to do. Not only are you physically doing it, but you're also doing it in your mind so that it becomes part of you.
Okay, well, I've noticed that when you do Tai Chi, the emphasis is on doing slow motion movements. So how does this enable your mind to think faster?
Think better.
I mean,
Better.
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 Sorry, I didn't. Sorry, bitter.
Yes, that it does.
I'm studying German.
I'm studying with him in Spanish, but in sign language. That it opens up your mind because you have to concentrate, but it's not a hard concentration like where you get frustrated.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be. It's the type of thing that I'm taking one step ahead. All right, like when you do meditation walking, you think,
What's that?
meditation walking is a really good practice of slowing yourself down and creating, in a sense, the life process.
Okay, well, before you get into that, for most of us, we tend to think of meditation as sitting, not walking.
But yes, walking is an added challenge because as you step forward,
I like that added challenge.
yes, as you step forward, you're breathing out. And you're in one spot, you step from the past into the present. Then
Wait, could you explain that again?
you step
You're using your hands, but you mean with your feet.
with your feet. That it's hard for a person to see from here.
You can use a table because we
Okay.
can see you better.
Okay, so you're stepping, your feet, hands are together, your feet are together. So you breathe in and you breathe out as you step into the future. You've got to know you're secure when you step forward because you've gone into the future, which then becomes the present. So you must leave the past, making sure you're solid and secure in the present, and then step into the next future. As you're breathing in, and breathing out, and breathing in, and breathing out.
I can see that.
All right, and it really works your brain, it works your balance, really good for your balance. If you're with a group of people, you can be in a line, and the person who comes in last is the winner. The person who walks slowest.
Okay, wait a minute. That's contrary to all Western.
That's Western. Wrong.
Who comes in last
Is the winner.
is
The
the
person who has meditated, taken their time to make sure that they are secure in the future that becomes the present. And you can't go forward in life if you continue to stay in the past. You remember the past, but you step forward into the future, which becomes the present. and this hand becomes your past.
I can see it. I can see it.
You know, so I like walking meditation.
How's walking meditation different from Tai Chi walking?
I think Tai Chi walking, or I know that Tai Chi walking helps you with the process of learning the Tai Chi Chuan, that from the lower half of your body, you need to know the foot movements to then go into weapons as well as the various other forms of Tai Chi. Okay, there's the 108, there's the 48, there's I think the 54, there's a 16. So there's different numbers of, like I say, different sections. Like 24 form has 24 sections. Okay, that when you go, we'll say with ward off, it's this, you go this way and you go back and you press and you clear, and then you go to the other side and you ward off, you grab, you roll back, you press, you clear. And so oftentimes the different forms in the different sections, they repeat themselves.
Okay, before you get too deeply into that, let's get to this business of the Qi.
Qi.
You hear Qi, and we're talking about Tai Chi. What is
That energy force, that force that's in all life, let's say, or all energy, that with the trees, there's Qi in the trees.
She's referring to a book that was given to me by our friend Ruby Castillo, written by a man with a German name that I cannot pronounce offhand. But the man is a tree expert, and he goes into explaining how it is that trees have a certain kind of life of their own, lives of their own that we know nothing about almost. For example, just for an example, he talks about the pine trees that keep certain kinds of insects that might injure them. It keeps them away from them by exuding a pine odor that we always I find very pleasant. I didn't know it was an insect repellent. But anyway, coming back to...
yes, this is a good book as well.
Good book. There's a lot of Qi in there.
Qi, you know, and...
What inhibits the Qi most, you think?
I think stress.
You're talking about the life force.
Right, stress.
Stress.
Okay, worry, anxiety, ability.
Modern day attributes.
Right, and so
if you're not stressful, if you're not anxious.
And having that stress and not developing your Qi opens you up to different illnesses and sickness and depression. And being full of Qi makes you more like a palm tree that when situations come up, it's easier to adjust and be able to overcome obstacles because the Qi helps with creativity.
Okay, I can relate to that. But you're not talking about something that has anything to do with religiosity or...
No.
It's not a religion.
No, not a religion. It's a way of life.
Way of life.
Okay, not a religion. And like I say, it's also more, think of it as preventive medicine. Okay, you don't want to wait till you get sick. You know, there's certain moves, like with the Qigong, that help the heart. You know, the move that is J Lady Shuttles is also a move that helps the heart. There are sounds that you learn in Qigong, like, you know, when you laugh, ha ha ha, well, that ha sound is a good sound for helping the heart, you know, to breathe in and then ha.
Okay, obviously, evidently, we're skimming the surface because it would take a long time to make some people understand that the sounds you make reveal certain kinds of things that are wrong with you or that are right with you.
It will help you, just like if, you know, from being even a child, if you have somebody scream at you, that type of force, that type of anger or loudness is bad for you as well as the person who's doing the screaming.
Zola, you know what? I love talking to you despite the fact that we've been talking to each other for 20-some years now.
Yes, we have.
And I know that sounds kind of funny, but I love talking to you.
I love talking
And
to you.
Unfortunately, we can't share any more of the conversation that we're having right now because we gotta go.
Well, before we go though, really encourage you out there listening. If you like this, our YouTube channel, please subscribe or hit the like button. Please buy an Odie Hawkins book. You can Google Odie Hawkins or go to his website, www.odiehawkins.com, and read about the different books and find one that you would perhaps like to read. And the books are on Amazon and the internet.
There's a lot of chi in some of them. One of them that I especially wrote in concerning Tai Chi is called The Ancestral Meridians. And the premise of that particular book is that perhaps the Chinese masters, as we know, well, those of us who do know, the 12 major meridian points that acupuncturists go for, but then there are many others that I don't know anything about. But it occurred to me as I was having acupuncture at one point, there might be a meridian that no one has discovered, and I'm using it as sort of a Tai Chi, acupuncture, science fiction, ancestral meridian thing. And the book is about.
And before we go too, I wore the mask shirt because I remember you saying that that the opportunity to write for MASH did not come up because at that time they were not recruiting African American or diverse writers.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
and so, but it was one of my favorite shows. However, you did write The Big Party, Sanford and Son, and so this is an opportunity for you there to start.
Be more creative. Be more creative.
And to investigate Tai Chi Chuan. And if you take the time, I'm about 100% sure that you will appreciate and the activity will give back to you.
Next week.
Next week?
Next week. This is not April Fool's.
Oh.
We're serious about this.
Happy birthday, Cousin Fred.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Blessings. Have a good life.